The courtroom was buzzing right out of the gate. The episode begins with Ms. McBurg petitioning the court for a DNA test to determine if her son, Kakito Hughes, is the father of Ms. Jackson's 2-year-old son, Elijah Jackson. She also claims defamation of character, accusing Ms. Jackson of calling her and her family deadbeats on social media. Strap in, because this roller coaster is just taking off.
You petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove your Kakito Hughes is not father of Ms. Jackson's 2-year-old son. You're suing Ms. Jackson for $1,000 for defamation of character because you claim she posted comments on social media claiming you and your family are deadbeat.
Things heated up quickly with accusations flying left and right. Ms. McBurg aggressively describes Ms. Jackson with disparaging terms and shows a photo as evidence to prove that Elijah does not resemble any member of her family, asserting the impossibility of Kakito being the father based on the child's appearance. The court's reaction was a mix of shock and awe, setting the scene for even juicier gossip to follow.
The little boy looks nothing like my son or any member of my family at all.
A photo of your son and the child in question?
Right.
And you say the child looks nothing like your son?
That baby white as snow. There's no way that be my grandchild or my son's baby. He has no features like none of us.
You won't believe the drama unfolding here. The nature of Ms. Jackson and Mr. Hughes' relationship is questioned. Ms. Jackson asserts that they were in a committed relationship and that he was the only person she was intimate with during that period, a claim which Ms. McBurg vehemently disputes, labeling Ms. Jackson as a mere snack cake or side affair to her son. The next twist in this tale is just around the corner, and it's a doozy.
So how long have you been in a relationship?
Well, maybe about 15, 18 months.
Were you in a committed relationship?
I thought we was.
Was he the only person you were intimate with during that time?
And she knows she lying.
This DNA right here has been in our life. She's never was a girl. You are a vampire. You are just a fly-by-night. He didn't know anything about you. He's been in a relationship 10 years.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense. Ms. McBurg expresses her exhaustion and frustration over numerous women claiming her son is the father of their children, revealing the personal strain and skepticism towards Ms. Jackson's claims. What happens next? Well, the tension hits a new peak that you won't want to miss.
I get babies dropped off here, dropped off there. I'm sick
I'm not
of
dropping
it.
it.
But it stops today, because that baby is not my son.
She's a liar because you just had a wild that got shut down by the police station last week.
Hello?
Oh, ma'am.
Yes,
that
you did.
is not
Yes,
true.
you did. Yes, you
There's
did.
some hoes in this house.
It is true because why is your neighbors complaining about the sex?
Oh, the plot thickens. Court examines a picture of Mr. Hughes kissing the child, Elijah. Ms. McBurg finds it upsetting, firmly believing that Elijah is not her grandson. The discussion shifts to potential other fathers, questioning if Mr. Hughes' brother could be the father, considering he also had a relationship with Ms. Jackson. Buckle up. The revelations coming up are jaw-dropping.
When you look at this picture,
It make me want to throw up.
it seems your son is kissing the baby. It makes you want to,
Because it's a
why?
lie.
For your son to be kissing an innocent child?
Because it's not here.
It doesn't matter, really. Your brother is sleeping with her and not using protection. Couldn't he possibly be Elijah's father?
Not in this case.
Mama's babies, papa's maybe.
Talk about a bombshell revelation. The topic of parental recognition arises when it is revealed that Elijah occasionally calls other men daddy, which Ms. Jackson explains as a mistake due to the child's confusion around men who resemble his father. The courtroom is abuzz, and the next statement promises to stir the pot even more.
And I heard her tell another guy who was out in the parking lot. She told him, she said, Cash, come on with daddy.
I've heard him call other dudes daddy, though. She makes it hard on herself because she felt a lot of doubts in the situation.
When he sees somebody light-skinned, my son sees somebody, because he's not there every day and all day, you know. So when my son sees like a tall light-skinned guy with a head on, he's daddy, and I'm like,
No, that man was black.
No.
This is where things really heat up. The lawsuit regarding the defamation claim is addressed. Ms. McBurg claims Ms. Jackson defamed her and her family on social media, affecting their reputation. However, due to a lack of concrete proof, the judge dismisses the defamation claim. Stay tuned, because the climactic moment of truth is next, and it's a stunner.
She going around telling everybody, well, we're deadbeat. We don't do nothing for the baby. How am I supposed to do something for a child that I don't know is
But
Other
what
girls.
proof did you bring to court that
What
these
proof?
statements occurred?
If I had my phone, I'd pull up the Facebook where she posted on Facebook.
I want
We need
that.
proof
You
that
did.
she
You
defamed
I never
you.
said anything spiteful about you guys, and I never will, because I have
First of all,
no
you wanna-
respect.
And now, for the moment we've all been waiting for. The episode concludes with the revelation of the DNA test results.
And whether Mr. Hughes is the father, Mr. Hughes, you are Elijah's father.
Well, strap in for this soap opera. Miss Carol steps up to the plate with a mission. She's here to prove that Mr. Parr is indeed the father of their 3-year-old tornado, Dawson. She's convinced that clearing up this paternity question will heal their fractured family life. Mr. Parr throws back some serious skepticism, doubting he's the dad and tired of the roller coaster they've been on. And if you thought this was juicy, just wait for the curveball coming up.
Miss Carol, you say you are here to save your family. You are certain Mr. Parr is the biological father of your 3-year-old son, Dawson. You say his denial Kyle has torn your family apart, and you were here to put his doubts to rest.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hold on to your coffee, folks. Miss Carroll drops a major bombshell about a fateful camping trip that might just explain the whole paternity puzzle. It was supposed to be a break from Mr. Parr, but turned into a plot twist with another man making a guest appearance. This revelation throws a wrench into the works, setting the stage for even more eyebrow-raising details.
We went on a camping trip, we had some drinks, went on the lake, thing led to another, and I hooked up with somebody else. We were not together. We got back home, I don't know, a couple weeks or so, and then we had ended up fixing things, and we had gotten back together. I just didn't feel like myself.
Oh boy, it gets thicker. Just when you think you've got a grip on the story, Miss Carroll talks about how quickly she turned a pregnancy test positive, which muddles up the timeline even more. Was Mr. Parr shooting blanks, or is he the sharpshooter after all? The suspense is killing, but keep your socks on. The expert's about to make a grand entrance.
I ended up going to the doctor right after I took the pregnancy test. I don't know, a couple days later, I made a doctor's appointment and went to the doctor. They told me the date I conceived was the weekend that I was on the camping trip. The next week, I went and got an ultrasound done. Dawson was measuring farther than what I was. They could not give me an exact due date, so they said by the ultrasounds and seeing how far along I was, that their original date of conception was wrong.
Here's where it gets medically spicy. A sudden health scare with little Dawson points to diabetes, a villain lurking in Mr. Parr's gene pool, but nowhere in Miss Carroll's family album. This genetic breadcrumb could lead us back to Daddy Parr, or is it a red herring? Grab your popcorn. The science guru is about to take the stage, and you'll want a front row seat.
Me or anyone on my side of the family was diabetic. And I told them no, but I know Chris is diabetic. Diabetes runs in his side of the family. They told me that diabetes could have loss of circulation, which could be why his feet and hands and lips were turning purple. So that to me also made me think, okay, well, there it is. There's more proof that he's yours. No one in my side of the family has diabetes.
And now for a bit of science with a side of drama. Dr. Samantha Brown Parks strides in to break down the nitty-gritty of pregnancy tests like it's CSI Paternity Court. Could the quick test result mean Mr. Parr's the dad, or is it just a fluke? Buckle up. We're about to dive into the deep end of genetics.
And so I want to hear from you. Is there something to her testimony? She felt like Mr. Parr would have been the child's father because how quickly those lines came up on that pregnancy test.
The minute sperm and egg come together and implant on your uterine wall, there is a hormone that's released called beta-human chorionic gonadotropin.
Here comes the moment of truth, folks. The envelope, please. The results are in, and the courtroom holds its breath as the judge reveals that Mr. Parr, drumroll please.
I think we are at a place where our theories and our testimony have taken us as far as we can go. So I have the results for you. Jerome, may I have the envelope, please? It has been determined by this court. Mr. Parr, you are not the father.
Buckle up, folks. The courtroom drama kicks off with a bang. The episode begins with Mr. Bradley expressing his lifelong confusion about his father's identity, hoping for answers through a DNA test. Mr. Tessner, on the other hand, is adamant that he isn't Mr. Bradley's father, mentioning another man's name on the birth certificate and questioning the timeline of conception. The introduction sets the stage for a complex family mystery involving disputed paternity and personal anguish. And just when you think you've got a grip on it,
Mr. Bradley, you say for 19 years you've wondered, who is my father? And you're hoping today's DNA test solves your intricate family mystery. Mr. Tessner, you claim you are 100% sure you are not Mr. Bradley's father. Say another man is on his birth certificate and paid child support. You say the dates of conception do not add up.
Yes, Your Honor, that's right.
can you feel the tension? Because it's palpable. Mr. Bradley shares his personal struggles of growing up fatherless, detailing the emotional impact of attending social activities without a paternal figure. He recounts a pivotal moment when his aunt revealed the possible identity of his father during a heated argument with his mother, leading to a strained and sporadic relationship with Mr. Tessner. This revelation fueled Mr. Bradley's quest for paternal connection, highlighting the deep-seated emotional ramifications of his uncertain lineage. Brace yourself. The next chapter is even more gripping.
I joined Boy Scouts. I had to go with a friend and his father. Kind of felt like a third wheel when I watched them interact with each other and to the juries at the Boy Scouts, and kind of just had to go friends and their fathers to do things.
And so all your life you felt this
Void and a longing to have a father myself to spend time with.
As we dive deeper, Mr. Tessner lays out his side of the story with a mix of confusion and denial. He explains his doubts about being Mr. Bradley's father, citing a brief and vague relationship with Mr. Bradley's mother, Mrs. Bradley. He emphasizes his lack of knowledge about the pregnancy and his surprise at being approached years later with a paternity claim. Mrs. Bradley admits to the ambiguous circumstances of her pregnancy and the possibility that she never informed Mr. Tessner, adding layers of doubt and misunderstanding to the paternity issue. Keep your eyes onions peeled because what comes next will definitely raise some eyebrows.
We only dated for about a month. I remember pulling over on the side road one time to make out. I cannot even remember having sex with her, that she was pregnant or that a baby was born.
You were never contacted?
I was never contacted. His aunt brought him to my house, said he was my baby, but I didn't believe her because I had heard nothing from the mom, knew nothing about her being pregnant. I just thought she was messing with me.
Now, let's crank up the drama dial. A heated discussion ensues about the legitimacy of the name on the birth certificate, with accusations of deceit and wrongful child support payment directed towards the wrong man. The court learns that another man endured legal and financial repercussions based on potentially false paternity claims, which he contested only after significant personal loss. This segment underscores the legal and emotional complexities involved in disputed paternity cases. Just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, the courtroom is about to explode with revelations.
Why is she going after the other man for child support in 1984? And he's a roofer, and roofers only works part of the time. I'm in the military in 1984. If I'm the dad, why didn't you go after me then? I paid child support on my other kids.
This whole thing has been masterminded.
She just changes it to whoever's doing better. That's who she tells him his daddy is.
Get ready for the edge of your seat climax. The court prepares to reveal the DNA test results. Mr. Bradley and Mr. Tessner express their long-standing frustrations and the personal stakes involved. Tension is palpable, reflecting the high emotional and familial impacts of the impending revelation, which promises to resolve or further complicate their troubled relationships. Fasten your seatbelts, because what's coming will turn everything on its head.
Me seeing him in jail, you can't give a man his freedom back. Or the times that he spent paying all that money buying me school clothes. I didn't get to know my great-grandmother. I didn't get to know my great-grandpa. I didn't get to know none of these people.
I would have been there if I knew the truth. I paid for my other two kids until they was 8. I'm raising 2 of my grandkids right now.
Here it comes, the moment of truth.
It has been determined that Mr. Tessner, you are his father.
Buckle up, folks. Ms. Williams kicks things off with a fiery accusation, asserting that Mr. Glover is dodging his fatherly duties for their 10-month-old son, Ralph. She describes Mr. Glover as a man-child, more interested in playing mind games than stepping up as a dad, determined to prove paternity today. On the flip side, Mr. Glover counters, labeling Ms. Williams as a promiscuous groupie out to trap him into fatherhood to cash in on his burgeoning rap career. He firmly denies fathering her child. With the stage set for a drama-filled hearing, you won't want to miss what comes next.
You say you are furious that Mr. Glover is denying paternity of your 10-month-old son. You claim Mr. Glover, irresponsible man-child who would rather play mind games, and you intend to prove paternity today.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Ms. Williams is a promiscuous groupie who hatched a complicated plan in order to cash in on your rap career.
Here we go. So, Miss Williams, what do you mean by he'd rather play mind games? She launches into a rant about Mr. Glover's antics, accusing him of using every trick in the book to avoid responsibility, especially when it involves other women. The narrative dives into how they met, with Mr. Glover painting himself as a well-known entertainer caught in her orbit during a video shoot at her apartment complex. He boasts about his fame, but Ms. Williams cuts through the fluff, accusing him of using his rap as a front to dodge real-life responsibilities. As the accusations fly, get ready because things are about to heat up even more.
Well, Your Honor, let me tell you about Mr. Glover right here. He plays a lot of mind games. When he wants to go out and be with other women and lie and cheat, then he starts to argue and say, well, hey, that's not my baby anyway. I don't have to sit around.
Well, I was doing videos in apartments that she was staying in. Everybody know me around every...
You a famous entertainer?
Yeah, I was famous entertainer. City, state to state, I'm everywhere.
Did you catch that? Man, when I met you, you wanted to be a one-woman man, Ms. Williams recalls, detailing how Mr. Glover tried to sweep her off her feet, only to revert to his old ways once the honeymoon phase fizzled. She recounts a pivotal moment when she believed he wanted to start a family, only to find him backsliding and mingling with others when things got tough. Their back and forth reveals a relationship fraught with misunderstandings and mistrust, painting a picture of a love gone sour. Fasten your seatbelts because the courtroom is about to turn into a roller coaster of emotions.
Since the first day she met me, she always wanted me. She always chased me around every spot I ever went to. She always...
And use your rap career and try to say that I want to trap. That's why we here today, to prove you wrong, that I'm not trapping you.
Yeah, we gotta prove that today then.
When you first met me now, good hustle, get my own good money.
What's this now? Enter Ms. Nolan, Mr. Glover's sister, who steps into the courtroom with some juicy tidbits about Ms. Williams' dealings with a so-called sugar daddy. She suggests that financial support might involve more than just friendly help, hinting at a more intimate exchange. As Ms. Nolan narrates her sleuthing at a hotel where she picked up clothes for Ms. Williams, the plot thickens with allegations of secret meeting and hurried exits. With each revelation, the story twists and turns. Hang on, because the bombshells are just getting started.
When it comes to a sugar daddy, a daddy ain't gonna be there unless you giving him some sugar. Her and my brother, they got a verbal disagreement at the end of December.
September 2016. Jaleesa called me. She asked me, could I go by their place to pick her up some clothes? So I said, of course, yeah, I'll go by your house. Send me the address, shoot me the address. And I brought some footage.
Ready for the big reveal? The judge finally calls for the envelope containing the DNA results. Cutting through Mr. T. Surtrar.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Glover, you are the father.
So where's the clap on, clap on, clap it.
Tear the tension like a hot knife through butter. Buckle up for this opener. Mr. Hamilton kicks things off with a bombshell, explaining to the court that he has serious doubts about the paternity of Ms. Lombardi's baby daughter due to suspicions of infidelity. He's pulling out all the stops by requesting a DNA test to confirm paternity and a lie detector test for Ms. Lombardi to clear the air on her fidelity. Just when you think it's all laid out, there's more drama just around the corner.
You have petitioned for a lie detector test on Ms. Lombardi, as well as DNA testing regarding her baby daughter. You say it is your belief that you're asking the court to administer these tests to help prove it once and for all.
Yes, Your Honor.
Talk about a plot twist. Ms. Lombardi fires back, countering Mr. Hamilton's claims and pointing out his overwhelming jealousy. She drops her own shocker by revealing that Mr. Hamilton had secretly conducted paternity tests on their other 3 children, weaving a thick web of distrust in their relationship. Strap in, because the ride gets even bumpier from here.
You argue that Mr. Hamilton is simply blinded by jealousy and paranoia. Previously went behind your back and had your... Today you're asking the court to rule against DNA testing for your... because you say it's not necessary.
Grab your popcorn, folks. Mr. Hamilton dives deeper into the saga, detailing the history of Ms. Lombardi's past infidelity, which prompted him to secretly test their other children for paternity. He's laying it all on the table, further explaining his current doubts about their youngest child, and just when you think you've heard it all, there's more to come.
I had to get our other 3 tested behind our back after she admitted to cheating with the first. You know, it was like, wow. And with the baby in your question right now...
We should not have to be here, Your Honor. I have 4 kids with this man.
You won't believe this next part. In a gripping turn of events, Mr. Hamilton describes a suspicious late-night encounter where he found a friend leaving their apartment, cranking up his suspicions about Ms. Lombardi's current fidelity and the paternity of their youngest child. The stakes are high and the tension is about to skyrocket. Keep your eyes peeled.
I see one of my buddies coming out my apartment.
Out your apartment?
2 in the morning, Your Honor. He's gonna tell me he brings some DVDs back. I let him borrow the week before. 2 in the morning, Your Honor.
True.
I go upstairs, she in panties and a t-shirt, no bra, awake.
Things are heating up. The courtroom becomes a battleground as Mr. Hamilton and Ms. Lombardi exchange fiery accusations of lying and cheating. Mr. Hamilton stands firm on needing the paternity test, while Ms. Lombardi defends her integrity like a cornered tiger. Hold tight, because the next reveal is a doozy.
You are the liar.
Mr. Hamilton, I need you to give me more specific stories about why you're so doubtful.
I get home one day, I go upstairs, you know, because, you know, it was a special little day for us. That our boat that never was open. It's half empty, but I didn't taste it.
Feel the intensity. Here comes the jaw dropper. In a stunning confession, Ms. Lombardi admits to infidelity with Mr. Hamilton's friend, throwing a wrench into the paternity issue and ratcheting up the emotional tension to new heights. Brace yourself, because the fallout from this confession is epic.
I cheated with your friend.
Oh, word? You really did that, man?
Yes, twice.
The night I came home?
I really did.
Man.
Yes, I cheated, Your Honor. It is a possibility.
Told you, man.
Oh,
yeah.
You in fact were
Yes.
cheating with that man.
Yes.
You cheated with him twice, and he could potentially be father of Janae.
Yes.
The suspense is killing us. After the DNA testing saga, both parties return to court, their nerves frayed and hopes hanging by a thread as they await the results that will determine the paternity of the child and potentially reshape their family dynamics forever. The big reveal is just moments away. Don't blink now.
And we're trying to determine the paternity of Janae.
I just want the results so we can put this behind us, Your Honor.
I understand, and I have those results. The results of the paternity testing, but also of Mr. Hamilton's lie detector test.
And here's the moment of truth. The judge delivers the monumental verdict that Mr. Hamilton is.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Hamilton, you are her father.
Oh my God, I told you!
Just when you thought daytime TV couldn't get any spicier, Ms. Miller kicks things off with a bombshell. She asserts that Scotty Rasmussen is not the father of her 3-year-old daughter, Zaylee. She tells Judge Lake that despite ongoing legal battles for custody, she has consistently denied Rasmussen's paternity, and requests for DNA testing have been rejected. Oh boy, strap in, folks, because this roller coaster is just getting started.
You're here to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Scotty Rasmussen, that he is not father of your 3-year-old daughters. You claim you've been in an ongoing court battle over custody and have petitioned the court several for a DNA test, all of which have been denied.
Yes, Your Honor.
As if he's responding to a challenge, Mr. Rasmussen steps up with a passionate passion-filled defense. He claims that Ms. Miller's denial of his paternity stems from personal animosity towards him, not from facts. He emphasizes his commitment to Zaylee, stating he has been present in her life since birth and seeks to establish his legal paternity through the court. Get ready for the next curve because the emotional pitch is about to go up a notch.
Mr. Rasmussen, you claim the real reason Ms. Miller is denying you're Zaylee's father is she hates you. You've been there for your daughter her entire life, and you're here today to are Zaylee's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
With the courtroom hanging on every word, Ms. Miller delves into the gritty details of their past romance. She discusses the root of her grievances against Rasmussen, citing his infidelity as the cause of their relationship's demise, but clarifies that her primary issue is not hatred, but loss of respect for him. Brace yourselves. The next revelation is a doozy.
Yes, I was very mad at him for being a cheater. He cheated on me pretty much our whole relationship. No, I do not hate him because of that. Lost my respect for him, yes.
He says this is about visitation. He loves his daughter, but you don't want him to have the visitation.
Yes, Your Honor.
As accusations start flying like popcorn kernels in hot oil, Ms. Miller suggests Rasmussen's paternal claims might be motivated by money. She alleges that Rasmussen's interest in visitation rights is financially motivated, specifically aimed at claiming Zaylee on his taxes, which Rasmussen vehemently denies, insisting his motivations are purely paternal. Hold tight, because the plot is about to thicken even further.
Because I believe that the only reason why he wants the visitation is to claim her on his taxes.
That is furthest thing from the truth. I want my visitation because my daughter means the world. I want to be in her life as much as I possibly.
I mean, if he's driving 160 miles each way every other weekend, the money he would get taxes, he's spending in gas.
Things take a twisty turn when Ms. Miller throws a wrench into the timeline of Zaylee's conception. She casts doubt on the timing, arguing that Rasmussen could not be the father as he was out of state at the time, aligning her timeline with another relationship she had during their separation. Just when you think it's all out on the table, there's more to come.
She was conceived in March 2011. He wasn't even in the same state. He was in Vegas. At that time in March, I wasn't even with him. I was with somebody else because he broke up with me.
That you two have an on and off relationship that has infidelity woven through.
The plot thickens as more layers peel away, revealing deeper complexities. In a twist, it emerges that Rasmussen was originally considered Zaylee's only possible father and remained unaware of any doubt until months after her birth, highlighting the depth of their relationship's complications and the intensity of the ensuing custody paternity disputes. And guess what? The emotional roller coaster doesn't stop there.
And still believe I was the only biological father until 5 or 6 months or so, give or take, after she was born. We were talking to the family court commissioner about things that go along with that, like where she'd be going to school, her doctor, and all that. Possibly not be the father because of another man that was involved. And she gave some date, I can't remember the specific.
As the courtroom listens in a mix of shock and awe, Ms. Miller's narrative flips the script. She contradicts Rasmussen's emotional recount of being present at Zaylee's birth, accusing him of being absent and uninvolved during critical moments, further complicating the narrative of his commitment. But hold on, because the drama escalates in the next act.
He ran out of the room. I didn't see him for 20 minutes after that. While I was in labor, he was sitting in one of those hospital cot beds on his computer in the corner, not paying attention to me in his own little...
I was on my computer, but that was far from it. I had to find a way to calm myself because I was so excited to be a father.
With the tension at a peak, the DNA results are about to drop like a hot new single.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rask, you are not the father. Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
The case of Todd versus Foster is officially underway, presided over by Judge Lake. Ms. Todd is dragging her former beau, Mr. Foster, to court to prove he's the daddy of her 4-month-old daughter, Selena, all because he got cold feet about the wedding after questioning the kiddo's paternity.
You were suing your former fiance, Mr. Foster, to prove he fathered your 4-month-old daughter. You say he called off the wedding due to paternity doubts.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Foster throws down the gauntlet, voicing his paternity doubts, thanks to Ms. Todd's bombshell confession of a little side hustle during the baby-making window. Ms. Todd owns up to her escapades, which supposedly started as a harmless night out, but clearly escalated.
So, Mr. Foster, you called off the wedding.
Miss Todd, we was engaged. The reason why I called it off was because it was one day, friend of hers, she wanted to go hang out. Miss Todd told me that it was her friend, his girlfriend, so I'm like, okay, I don't got nothing to worry about.
In a plot twist worthy of a soap opera, Mr. Foster details his discovery of some saucy texts on Ms. Todd's phone, which set all the alarm bells about her fidelity and the baby's paternity. The texts were more than friendly, igniting a wildfire of drama and doubt.
I normally don't go through phone at all. Her phone just kept on buzzing, and a text message said, it was good, I want some more. In my mind, I'm thinking like, be my fiance, seeing this.
Went out with a friend and stayed out all night?
Yes, Your Honor.
So did you sleep with him that night?
Yes, Your Honor.
Under the stern gaze of Judge Lake, Ms. Todd spills the beans on not just one, but multiple nights of indiscretions. She details another rendezvous with the same gentleman, again with protection, further tangling the web of who's the daddy.
Go to the store, get something to eat, then we
We went back to the plate and it just happened. We used protection.
Sound like y'all was planning it to me. So was this the only time you had sex? You didn't know that, Mr. Foster?
This is my first time ever hearing about the second time.
Mr. Foster recounts the whiplash of feeling joy at the pregnancy news, only to be slammed by memories of Ms. Todd's cheating spree. This bombshell led him to ditch the wedding plans and question whether he was indeed the father.
Did you tell the other guy you were pregnant?
It was a possibility that he wasn't the father. So no, I did not tell the other person. He found out on pictures on Facebook.
Did he ever think he was the father? Because you know protection is not 100%.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
As the emotional stakes rise, Mr. Foster confesses his inner turmoil about signing the birth certificate amidst his doubts, driven by a longing to be the father he never had. His tale is a tearjerker, showing just how deep the roots of personal history can go.
The reason why was because I was the only guy that was there that had stepped up.
So you came to the birth. At that moment, you just stepped up, or did you say, I really think I'm this child's father now?
Well, it was like more, I'm a step up, and I'm gonna be a man since Mrs. Todd is staying with us.
But you did not believe the child was yours.
Mr. Foster whips out proof of their engagement, throwing a curveball that contradicts Ms. Todd's timeline of events. This piece of evidence adds layers to their already complicated love saga and the paternity mystery.
We was already engaged for her birthday is in the summertime. If I'm not mistaken, it was cold out when the guy came and come and get her.
It was warm outside when he came.
Do you see the wedding cake right there? That's on her birthday.
Oh, and there's the ring.
August 8th.
So now, does that refresh your memory? Were you engaged when you had this man come pick you up?
Ms. Foster, aka Mama Bear, steps into the fray, laying out why she suspects her son isn't the father, based on Ms. Todd's own words and a push for a DNA test to clear the air. The family drama intensified, dragging everyone through an emotional gauntlet.
As I was saying, I told her that she needed to take a DNA test with this guy. Family members of hers were calling me, let me know that this guy was the father. He didn't want to be involved. My son, I said, if you're going to be with her, you might as well marry her and get over the fact that the child may not be yours.
Ready for the big reveal? The tension hits its peak as Judge Lake unfurls the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Foster, you are her father.
Oh,
I told you was her father.
Can you believe this drama unfolding right here? Mr. Roll asserts he is not the father of Miss Gadelian's twin daughters, adamant in his belief that her infatuation is the only reason she's pointing the finger at him. He paints a picture of Miss Gadelian's behavior as over-the-top obsessive, detailing her relentless presence around him and her sneaky snapshot tactics. If you thought this was juicy, just wait until you hear what's up next.
Mr. Roll, you are here to prove you are not father of Miss Gadelian's twin daughters. You say she's infatuated with you, and that's the reason she wants her babies on you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did that just happen? Out of the blue, Miss Gadelian stands her ground, confidently declaring that Mr. Roll is undoubtedly the father of her twins. She paints a heart-wrenching picture of abandonment, detailing how he left her to fend for herself with 2 babies, her heart shattered into pieces. The drama ramps up from here, so keep your eyes peeled.
You say there is no question Mr. Roll is father of your twins. You say he left you with 2 babies and a broken heart.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wasn't that a plot twist? In a turn of events in court, Mr. Roll dives deep into Miss Gadelian's so-called obsessive antics, accusing her of taking countless photos of him without his permission and practically haunting his workplace. This revelation dives into the nitty-gritty of their complicated interactions, highlighting a serious clash over personal boundaries and alleged over-the-top behavior. Buckle up, because the courtroom revelations are about to get even more intense.
Your Honor, she's obsessed with me. She would take pictures of me. We would sit there, she'll walk past my job, staring at me. Then when me and my ex broke up, I seen just numbers of pictures that I never seen before. I didn't even know it was being taken.
You said you saw pictures you never knew were being taken.
Did you catch that curveball? Miss Gadelian retraces the seemingly innocent beginnings of their romance, starting with lighthearted flirtations during work breaks, evolving into more meaningful social media banter. She emphasizes the normalcy of their budding relationship, spotlighting the mutual interest that gradually scaled up. You won't believe what happens next, so stay tuned.
On breaks and stuff, I would go over to his job and get drinks or whatever. Player, you would say. He would flirt with everybody there. He was flirting with me. I was flirting. We started writing on Facebook and whatnot, because after a while, he invited me over to his house.
Ready for another shocker? Amidst the courtroom tension, Mr. Roll drops a bombshell by admitting he wasn't exactly single during their interactions, revealing a girlfriend in the background all along. This bombshell opens up a can of worms about the true nature of their relationship, leaving Miss Gadelian feeling misled and revealing Mr. Roll's cavalier attitude toward his flirtations, despite being committed elsewhere. And guess what? There's more drama just around the corner.
When she sent me the message on Facebook, I had pictures of me and my ex together. We all would go trips, we do vacation. So she was well aware I was in a relationship when she hit me up. She was well aware. She went through my Facebook and were able to find out where I was at, how to message me. She seen the pictures of me and my ex.
You won't believe this twist. After discovering her pregnancy, Miss Gadelian faces Mr. Roll's cold shoulder as he expresses fear over how the twins would upend his life. This pivotal moment uncovers Mr. Roll's initial denial of paternity and showcases the emotional roller coaster Miss Gadelian endured, contemplating the daunting prospect of single motherhood. The plot thickens, so don't go anywhere.
I asked him, I said, what would you do if I was pregnant? And he said, it would ruin my life. I said, well, then never mind. He says, you're pregnant, aren't you? And I said, you know what, I am. Don't worry about it.
She told me she had to tell me something. I didn't find out, actually like 2 or 3 days later, what she wanted to tell me. That's when she told me she was pregnant.
Here comes a game-changing revelation. The courtroom digs deeper, uncovering that Miss Gadelian was technically still married, albeit separated, adding layers to the paternity puzzle. Mr. Roll seizes this detail to bolster his doubts about fatherhood, hinting at potential other liaisons by Miss Gadelian. The stakes are high, and you'll want to see what's revealed next.
Do you think you're the father at this?
No, because she was married.
What?
Your Honor, I was in the middle of a divorce. I had been separated from my husband for over a year. We were in the middle of a divorce that I was trying to. Divorce lasted a very long time.
And I was told she said slept with someone else. Like, in my mind, I'm sitting there like, it can't be mine. It's from people I work with, and also people that work, partners she work at also.
Can this get any wilder? As the heat turns up, it's disclosed that another man not only signed the birth certificate, but was also present at the twins' birth. This bomb drops amid escalating tensions and unresolved conflicts between Mr. Roll and Miss Gadelian, with both navigating a minefield of betrayal, responsibility, and past decisions refuse to stay buried. Hang tight, because the courtroom drama is far from over.
In my mind, if she as another man on the birth certificate, another man was dead for the birth, another man cut the umbilical cord. So in my mind, I would have some part. You would have reached out to me at some point in time.
I asked him if it was okay before it was even done, and he said he did not care.
Approaching you and saying, look, I have a boyfriend now and he wants to sign a birth certificate.
Hold on to your seats for this jaw-dropping moment. Into the courtroom steps Mr. Taylor, taking on the role of father to the twins amidst the ongoing dispute about their paternity. His commitment to the children, irrespective of biological ties, starkly contrasts with Mr. Roll's reluctant denial, illustrating the profound differences in their views on fatherhood and moral responsibility. The climax is on its way, and you won't want to miss it.
You signed the birth certificate, these beautiful children, when they were born, and you were also at the hospital Miss Gadelian delivered.
I was. Me and Sarah had built a relationship. I knew she was pregnant. Obviously, I knew they weren't mine. There was rumors that they were Willie's. There was rumors saying that they weren't. After our relationship, I didn't care. I just knew that the man wasn't around.
Are you ready for the grand finale? Tension reaches its peak as Judge Lake prepares to unveil the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Roll, you are their father.
Right out of the gate, things are heating up. Miss Palmer and her twin sister storm into court, guns blazing, ready to throw down over who their real daddy is. They're not just here to stir up drama. They want DNA proof that Mr. Palmer, the man on the defense bench, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else, is their biological father. Despite their fiery entrance, they're on different pages about what they actually want from him, which only adds to the soap opera vibe. Mr. Palmer, with a face that could curdle milk, swears up and down it's not him because their mom was already pregnant when they met. As the twins raise their eyebrows, so do we. Grab your popcorn, folks. This is just the warm-up.
Petitioning the court for a paternity test to prove the defendant is your biological father. That it is impossible for you to be the biological father of the Palmer twins.
Can you believe what just happened? Miss Palmer is up next, spilling her guts with a mix of heartbreak and a dash of righteous fury. She's absolutely gutted that Mr. Palmer, a man she's called dad, in her heart if not in person, is now denying everything. Flashbacks to childhood memories flood the courtroom as she recounts those fleeting moments they share, painting a picture of a dad who's there 1 minute and ghosting the next. Her twin backs her up, adding her own color commentary to the sad family portrait. As the tension mounts, you'll want to stick around because the tea is about to spill.
I was playing in the backyard with my sister's father, and I ran to the front of the yard, and so happened he pulls up. Hey, twins, and he zoomed off. I remember at 8 years old, him coming.
Hold the phone. Did he just say that? In a jaw-dropping turn, Mr. Palmer throws down the gauntlet, denying he's ever laid eyes on these two. The twins are having none of it, serving up a heated rebuttal with a side of, "Are you kidding me?" This standoff has the courtroom buzzing as they detail every chance encounter with a man who seems to have a PhD in hit-and-run parenting. Their frustration is palpable, and Mr. Palmer's denial are about as sturdy as a house of cards in a windstorm. Don't touch that die, because the sparks are about to fly even higher.
It was a time when we were 11 years old, right? Came home from, then you have a big brown van when we came home.
There's something wrong with this brain,
as soon as we walked in, this man, you guys look just like he was sitting at our kitchen table.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, here comes the Backstory Express. The court dives into the nitty-gritty of timeline, timelines and possible deceptions, with Mr. Palmer narrating a tale that sounds more like a daytime TV plot than real life. He claims he was duped about the pregnancy timeline, using it as his get-out-of-fatherhood free card. The details pile up, and so do the doubts, as everyone tries to keep up with his story that's slipperier than an eel. The stage is set, my friends, for revelations that might just flip the script.
Here's number one. She's already pregnant.
My mother was a
You better
virgin.
watch out.
Yeah.
This before we even talk.
Well,
As I
start
took her
talking to a
home with my
pregnant woman.
sister, they worked together. I dropped them off. We got to know each other a little bit.
Wait, did he just drop a family tree bombshell? Mr. Nick Palmer, perhaps in a bid to distract from the current drama, shares that he's got enough kids to start his own small village. This little gem adds layers to the mystery. How does a man with a double-digit brood keep all his stories straight? The implications are as juicy as they are complex, with family ties that could probably strangle a soap opera cast. Fasten your seatbelts. We're heading into a family feud that could make Thanksgiving look like a tea party.
Did I ever had a DNA done on? And that was because I asked for it because I was 60 years old and had a baby.
Still having kids.
My daddy had 32. And the only reason I asked for a DNA at that time because I wasn't sure.
You'll need a scorecard to keep track of this emotional roller coaster. The twins lay it all out, their voices thick with emotion as they detail a lifetime of missed father-daughter dances and unanswered birthday wishes. They paint a vivid picture of a father-shaped hole in their lives, making a compelling case for Mr. Palmer to step up and face the music. Their heartfelt plea tugs at the heartstrings, maybe even a juror or two. But will it sway the man in question? As we gear up for the next bombshell. Remember, the plot always thickens in paternity court.
Since she got in contact with this man, my sister, that this man has said we're not his kids.
And she said
and this man could look in our face and sit here and say not our father. After all that,
Believe
you
me.
should have inquired about these and made sure that the other two, besides the 10.
Here's a twist. Enter stage right, Mr. Palmer's daughter, who could double as his public relations manager. She's all praises and defense for her dad, throwing a lifeline to a man currently swimming in hot water. Claiming her father's always been Mr. Honest, she presents a stark contrast to the twins' narrative of neglect and abandonment. As she stands by her dad, courtroom is split. Whom to believe? Keep watching, because the family drama is about to reach soap opera levels.
These girls feel like my dad is their father and he hasn't been in their life. If he had any doubt in his mind, I'm sure he would have stepped up to the plate. I'm sure he would have asked for DNA. So
And when I reached out to
we
Camille,
heard
she
about
was
it.
very
We heard,
receptive.
Mama told me as a kid that
Just when you think you've heard it all, another Palmer offspring enters the fray, echoing his sister's sentiments with a solid dad's no deadbeat declaration. This sibling tag team attempts to shore up their father's crumbling credibility, insisting he's as reliable as gravity. Yet, as they recount family tales that conspicuously exclude the twins, the plot thickens enough to cut with a knife. The stage is set for a showdown that could rival any season finale. Don't go anywhere. The climax is up next.
I've always known about the girls, I've always heard through family members about the girls, but I've never been able to. I actually, since we share the same last name, I claimed him as my sister. I've never laid eyes on him either. This is my first time seeing him. He's always been consistent with his story.
Cue the dramatic music. It's envelope time. As the judge grips the results that everyone's been waiting for, you can cut the tension with a chainsaw. Will the DNA test prove Mr. Palmer is the father, or will it vindicate his vehement denials? Either way, the family tree is about to get some new branches or have a few chopped off. As we brace for the big reveal, remember, in paternity court, expect the unexpected. What happens next could rewrite everything.
You are their father. You genuinely look surprised, Mr. Palmer, and emotional. How do you feel?
He would have been there.
In a surprising twist right at the start, Ms. Murphy claims that after a brief but passionate relationship with Mr. Miles, she became pregnant, and now that he is married, he wants to deny their 3-year-old son. She passionately expresses her frustration and disappointment with Mr. Miles' refusal to acknowledge their child. Strap yourselves in, because Mr. Miles' rebuttal is just as jaw-dropping.
Passionate relationship offended Mr. Miles, and then you became pregnant. Now you say he's married and won't forget he has a 3-year-old son.
Yes, Your Honor.
In an explosive response, Mr. Miles firmly denies paternity of the child, suggesting that whispers and rumors from friends and family hint at another man being the biological father. The audience gasps in surprise at his adamant denial. Keep your eyes peeled. Ms. Murphy's comeback will have you on the edge of your seat.
That the only person you're trying to forget is Ms. Murphy.
Yes, Your Honor.
You deny her son and say her friends and family have told you another man is his biological father.
As the plot thickens, Ms. Murphy recounts how Mr. Miles reacted negatively when she announced her pregnancy. She accuses him of shirking his responsibilities, pointing out his refusal to support or even recognize their child, which earns a round of applause from the audience. Things are about to get even spicier, with accusations flying back and forth.
I don't want you to have this baby. This is not okay to make that baby, but he can't be man enough to take care of it. The paternity test,
And that's not
any
true.
other way, he said he didn't have the money for it. If that's the case, Your Honor, we would not be here. It would already been taken care of.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more heated, Mr. Miles throws throws a curveball by accusing Ms. Murphy of being unfaithful, citing an incident involving hickeys from another man. Ms. Murphy vehemently denies these claims, insisting she was faithful and deeply invested in Mr. Miles during their relationship. Buckle up. The judge is about to step in and shake things up.
One minute she's pregnant by me. She'd tell me, I asked her, what's the reason you got hickeys on your neck?
To lie. When I was talking to him, I was only talking to him because I was so busy. I really liked him at the time that we were seeing each other. I was not talking to anybody.
With confusion hanging in the air, Judge Lake delves into the nature of their relationship, with Mr. Miles describing it as casual and non-committal, which starkly contrasts Ms. Murphy's narrative of their past involvement. The twists keep coming, and what follows will leave you questioning everything.
We were cool, we were friends, you know. I wouldn't say it was a relationship. Yeah, her family members told me specifically
the family members that you were sleeping with.
They told me that she was getting around.
Family members that he was sleeping with told him
Miss Murphy, she knew that.
In a critical turn of events, Judge Lake lambasts the lack of convincing evidence from Mr. Miles regarding his paternity doubts, emphasizing that trivial incidents like hickeys are hardly a basis for denying fatherhood. The stage is set for a dramatic twist as a new testimony turns the tide.
Because I know what type of woman I was dealing with, the type of stuff that you let me see this stuff.
She don't got no stuff.
The hickeys on her
never
neck.
had hickeys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So move forward from that.
My evidence is that every male and female know what sex smells like. She came over to my house.
Raising the stakes, Mrs. Miles, the current wife of Mr. Miles, steps up to testify, shedding light on the timeline of her relationship with him and her discomfort with the chaotic introduction to Ms. Murphy's child situation. What she reveals next will definitely stir the pot further.
Come on now.
And the child is 3 years old.
I went over there nowhere.
Almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years. He's not even out.
I know nothing about Tanisha or Takori at all. I found out we got together in 2012.
In a heartfelt moment that might just soften the hardest of hearts, Mr. Narvaez, who has acted as a father figure to the child since he was 2 months old, shares his deep emotional connection with the child, asserting that his role in the child's life is unwavering, regardless of the biological ties. The moment of truth is up next, and it's a game changer.
Not biologically, but you know, like everything he know, I teach him. He got favorite colors. We play games. I taught him his colors. I taught him his numbers, his ABC. When he wake up in the morning, the first thing he do, he wake me up. Daddy, I love you. Good morning, Daddy.
In a climactic reveal, the tension hits its peak as Judge Lake reads the DNA results, confirming that
A 3-year-old Takori Murphy. Mr. Kiba Miles, you are his father.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I have no reason to lie.
Can you believe we're just kicking things off? The session begins with a formal invitation to sit. The case Green versus Duncan is announced, spotlighting a paternity dispute involving a 2-year-old named Angel Bryant. Judge acknowledges the audience and participants, setting a serious yet open tone for the proceedings. Buckle up, because we're just getting started on this roller coaster.
This is the case of Green versus Duncan.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Mr. Green,
Yes, ma'am.
you claim your right as a potential father to the child in question today. 2-year-old Angel Bryant were basically stolen from you.
Right out of the gate, the stakes are high. Mr. Green asserts his rights as a potential father have been compromised. He expresses doubts about his paternity since the child's conception, but has still provided financial support. Despite his uncertainties, Mr. Green continues to fulfill financial responsibilities just in case Angel is indeed his daughter. You won't want to miss what's coming up next.
You say at 56 years old and having never fathered a child previously, yet you maintain financial responsibility for Angel just in case she's indeed yours.
This part's a real jaw-dropper. Ms. Duncan admits to having been intimate with another man during her relationship with Mr. Green, but insists Mr. Green is the father because the other man used protection. Shockingly, she reveals that both men are currently paying child support, eliciting gasps from the audience. Hang tight, because there's more where that came from.
To sleeping with another man while with Mr. Green, but say you're positive is Angel's father because the other man used protection. Green is solely supporting the child, and you admit that both men are currently paying child support.
Here's where things start to twist and turn. The backstory of how Mr. Green met Ms. Duncan unfolds. They started their relationship cautiously, eventually becoming intimate. Ms. Duncan acknowledges she was not fully truthful about her other relationships, increasing the complexity of the paternity issue. Keep watching, the plot thickens.
I was out, of course. Staggering a little bit, walking home alone from the club.
Then shortly thereafter, you guys began dating?
I don't have sex. I'm not a sexually active person. We did not sleep together, and this was about 3 months later.
Waited, which is good, got to know one another, and then you had a sexual relationship.
That's correct.
This segment turns up the drama notch. Ms. Duncan describes her unexpected pregnancy discovery. She initially informed Mr. Green, who was stunned by the news, given his age and lack of prior children. This moment intensifies when Mr. Green mentions his reason for pursuing clarity in court, wanting the truth to come out. You'll definitely want to see what happens next.
They took me to the emergency room and they told me that, and also, congratulations, you're 9.5 weeks pregnant.
Really? She was the first person you called?
Yes.
And so what was your reaction? Were you happy?
I just couldn't believe it. I was in shock.
You were 54 years old.
Yes.
You never had
Yes,
another
Your
child.
Honor. No, Your Honor.
And just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, Mr. Green recounts the moment Ms. Duncan hinted the child might not be his, which came around 6 or 7 months into the pregnancy. This revelation, discussed, leads to a heated exchange about the timing and truthfulness of Ms. Duncan's admission, deepening the emotional and legal entanglements. Strap in for the revelation that's about to unfold.
And she told me, she said, well, the baby may not be yours. That's after 6 or 7 months.
Of pregnancy or
Yes.
when the baby was born?
6 or 7 months during pregnancy. And that's why I found out the baby may be.
Yes,
that's
I told
just
you
what those
that. I
exact
told
words.
you that I was what?
Okay,
3 months. Now you're
7
gonna
months.
tell I'm 6 or 7
You
months?
was about to have the baby.
Every revelation here adds a new layer of complexity and shock. The drama peaks when Mr. Green discusses the birth of the child, noting his absence due to not being informed, a point of contention and sorrow as he missed a significant life event. Ms. Duncan admits her mistake in hastily assigning paternity on the birth certificate, acknowledging it may have prematurely defined familial roles. Next up, the emotional stakes are through the roof.
I felt you didn't want no child, and the man.
Well, you could have left it blank. If your heart, if you know who the dad is, you can let it be signed. Get what you can
I'm
get
not
from him.
playing with him.
You get what you can get from me.
No, oh no. Really giving me nothing.
I know that. How would you feel if I do the same thing to you if I was vice versa?
You.
Brace yourself. The moment of truth is near. The climax occurs from as the judge prepares to deliver the DNA test results, a moment filled with high emotional stakes.
Mr. Ronald Green, you are not her father.
Can you handle this curveball? Ms. Manship's devastating discovery and search. At age 10, Ms. Manship's world turned upside down when she learned that her dad was actually not her biological father. Stunned and devastated, this bombshell kicked off a 20-year scavenger hunt to find her real dad, with nothing more than an old photo, a name that might as well have been a needle in a haystack. Buckle up, the emotional roller coaster is just picking up speed.
Ms. Manship, at the age of 10, you were shocked and devastated to learn that your dad was not your biological father. That began your 20-year search to find the man your mother claimed is your father. After your exhaustive search to find him, you came up with nothing.
Just when all seemed lost, the court miraculously tracked down Mr. Laup, who's about to make an entrance and meet Ms. Manship and her mother for the first time in over 3 decades since their dramatic split. The room is charged with tension and anticipation, like a finale of a reality show. Get ready, because the drama is about to dial up a notch.
Well, Ms. Manship, this court has located him, and he will join us in a moment. This will be the first time meeting him, first time seeing him since they broke up more than 30 years ago. But before we bring in the defendant, Mr. Laup,
in walks Mr. Laup, totally clueless about the existence of Ms. Manship until a recent bombshell phone call from the court. His bewildered expression could rival a sitcom scene. He denies any knowledge of her, setting the stage for some jaw-dropping moments. The next part is a tear-jerker. Make sure you have tissues handy.
When the court contacted me just recently.
you never knew she existed.
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
But you did have a relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
You remember that.
3 years
I have
ago,
to ask, is this you in this photo?
Yes, Your Honor.
We know we at least have the right Mr. Laup. How does that make you feel, Ms. Manship?
Relieved.
Ms. Manship shares her tireless efforts to find Mr. Laup, from internet deep dives to asking strangers in chat rooms if they knew her dad. True detective in the making. Her dedication is both heartbreaking and oddly inspiring. Don't go anywhere. You'll want to see how Mr. Laup reacts to all this.
Since my early teens, I've searched everywhere. I've searched phone books. I've searched online. I've asked people, and I've never had a response from, in the past 20 years, nobody has ever given me even a single detail or where he lived, if he has any family. I don't know anything.
You had no hope until this court tracked him down.
Yes.
The plot thickens as Ms. Lutman dives into the soap opera of her past relationships, with Mr. Laup and another mysterious man making the paternity question as clear as mud. As they untangle the timeline of who was where when, the suspense builds. It's like a reality TV show cliffhanger, and you'll be on the edge of your seat.
Well, I only wanted to keep one.
You did?
I was really happy with this man.
You were very happy with Mr. Laup?
Didn't want to stay out of the picture. He said he had to get back to Arkansas and take care of business. Me and my ex got back together, and about a month later, I started getting symptoms, and I was with my ex till I figured it was my ex's baby. So we just continued all the way up until I had her.
Hold your popcorn. It's the big reveal. Paternity results revealed. Drum roll, please. Jerome hands over the paternity test results, and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Laup, you are the father.